is a bit special. Today, we're going to focus on email deliverability, the one-on-one session, how to send better emails for your business. It's going to be an amazing session in the form of a checklist, just to make sure that you can have all the tools, all the knowledge, everything that you need to make sure that you're sending good emails to your audience, emails that actually get delivered to their inboxes. We're going to go through this webinar right away. As usual, for this Panoramata webinar series, no BS, only actionable insights. Today, we're going to focus on the main two things, what you need to know when it comes to email deliverability and how to make it happen, how you can ensure that your emails get better deliverability. That being said, all right, let's get started. Let's get started right now. We're going to wait a minute just to make sure everyone's joining. Is everyone hearing me okay? Hi, hi, hi. Not sure if... Hi, Dimitar. Okay, all right, perfect. Wasn't sure, so we're good. We're gonna get started right away then. As I've said, email deliverability one-on-one. We're gonna make sure today to review the essential checklist on how to make sure that your emails can get delivered. All right, so as usual for this session, it doesn't matter if you're in a big market or in a very established, very specific niche. It doesn't matter if you're a complete beginner in marketing. That's not what it's about today. It doesn't matter either if you have a small budget. The only thing that matters is that you have access to your domain name, that you're using already an ESP to send some email newsletters as well. And if you have a few minutes ahead of you to check this. A little intro here about Panoramata. We're collecting email from more than 20K companies. We score every single email that we receive. We receive so far more than 10 million emails on our platform. We score every single one of them to get an understanding of the deliverability of each brand, of each email, what does matter, and what's the essential that you need to keep in mind when it comes to sending good emails to your audience. By the end of this session, you'll know how to cover, of course, your basics, how to make sure that you're sending the right emails to your audience, and at the same time, plan for better deliverability in 2025 so you don't have the surprise of getting your emails actually not delivered to your audience. All right. That being said, the goal today is going to make sure that you can make the right email marketing decisions without getting lucky. The goal here is going to make sure that you can focus on the right metrics, following the right steps and staying consistent. And this way you'll for sure improve your scores and your deliverability at the same time. So why deliverability? The goal is perfect. The first goal here is going to make sure that you can comply with the highest standards. Right now, the companies that have set actually a bit before this year, the highest standards when it comes to email deliverability are Gmail and Yahoo. If you're an email marketer, then you already know about this. They've enforced a set of new rules by the beginning of, it was in February 2024, so it will be a year. The goal is to make sure that you can deliver your emails to these people. If you don't, you'll be listed as spam by those inboxes, but not only, also by the others. It also makes sure if you're focusing on deliverability, it doesn't have to be a lot of time spent on this, but at least just to make sure that you cover your basics. If you don't do this, you're also at risk of attacks and domain name reputations and issues. I'm also talking for companies that I've seen having those issues. If you follow the right steps from day one, you're going to make sure to avoid them. Review your deliverability as well from time to time. Things can change. You can, last example that I've seen is you add a new app on your e-commerce store that actually needs a DNS to be changed, and that affects your deliverability. So just from time to time, just make sure that everything is green at that level. The very first item on the checklist that I wanted to check with you is the forms. It starts with the forms. That's where the whole email deliverability starts for you. The very first thing that you should do is protect your forms against bots. There are a handful of ways to do this. Usually, if you're working with a big ESP such as Klaviyo, MailChimp, or something else, they'll do this automatically for you. Sometimes they don't, and there are a few extra steps that you need to take. Just make sure that you don't have bots that are signing up to your email lists, because that will impact your email deliverability for sure 100% of the time. This is one of the critical steps you need to take, maybe the first one, because if you get everything else the right way, this will kill all your efforts. There are various ways to do this and to secure your forms. You should limit submissions, submit them by IP. You should also, a lot of people are also limiting submissions by speed, like a same computer can't sign up to your newsletter more than once a minute, for instance, just to make sure that people can't mass subscribe to your email list. You should also validate emails before sending. If an email looks like weird, or if the domain name is not correct, that kind of stuff, that should be checked before you even attempt to send an email, and that will again help you increase your email deliverability. There's also something quite important when it comes with form, and this is much more related with content. Make sure that your form is clear and that people know and understand what they can expect from you and what will happen after the form. It might be a white paper, it might be a newsletter subscription, whatever it is. Just make sure that people, when they click the sign up button, the subscribe button, they will know what will happen next. After the form come the sign up. Make sure, if you can, this is good practice and for a reason, to enforce double opt-in, which means that people need to subscribe to your newsletter. That's good, but they need to confirm that they indeed want to be subscribed to your email list. This will change everything for you in terms of email deliverability. You'll have a much more engaged audience. As I've said, this is related to the form, but also here, set expectations as well with a clear welcome email. Usually what's expected here is to make sure that people will know which kind of emails they receive, at which frequency, so they'll know and won't be surprised of what will come next. And then there's a tip, and one of my favorite tips ever when it comes to email marketing: ask for engagement. End user engagement matters for every single major inbox provider. Gmail, for instance, it's the case. They do check how much the end user engages with the domain and with each email that this domain is sending. So in the very first, for instance, welcome email that you're sending to someone, ask for an engagement. It could be an answer, it could be a click, but just make sure to make engagement super easy. Ask your questions, ask them to click here to validate something super simple. It should be a no-brainer, but you want to aim for an interaction early on, and if possible, within this welcome email. You don't have to, I'm going to say it this way, aim for the sale right away. When it comes to email deliverability, what you want to aim for is engagement, a click, an answer. Then sending, of course, send emails. It goes without saying, but still I'm going to say it. Send to signed up users only. Don't ever buy lists. You'll kill your domain reputation. You'll kill your email reputation. You'll get spam traps in your list that are super dangerous for your reputation as well. And even more than this, try to send to engaged users mostly. Of course, in terms of content, don't trick users. Don't use tricky subject lines. You can do this one or twice, but really not much than this. Again, if it leads people to marking your emails as spam, you lose everything else. So don't try to trick users. And in terms of sending, something super important as well is you should send your emails in batches over several hours. There is one simple reason for this, and this is stated by every single major inbox provider as well. You should send email at consistent rates. Every spike is detected as something suspicious by Gmail, Yahoo, and the others. If you have a spike in terms of volume of emails that you're sending, if you're sending unusual 10 emails per day for the last 2 months, and one day you're sending 10K emails, there's going to be an issue in terms of deliverability for sure. If every week you're sending your newsletter on Sundays at 10 p.m. and at some point you're sending twice the volume, or you're sending at another date, then there's going to be a suspicion as well. Be consistent when it comes to sending. This is the best way to actually land in the inbox of your audience. Any sudden volume spike, any change, any big change here will actually result either in rate limiting, that is Google actually not delivering your emails right away, but actually waiting a set of hours and even days before sending and delivering your emails. And they're doing this for a simple reason. As there's a spike, they're suspicious, and they want to make sure that there's no issue. So they're going to send a batch of the emails that you're going to send. They're going to see if there are a lot of spam reports on that batch. And if everything went okay, then they're going to deliver the rest. To avoid this and to increase your deliverability, what you want to do is to send emails little by little, and make sure that, for instance, if you have a newsletter to send on the Tuesday at 10 a.m., instead of sending all the emails Tuesday 10 a.m., well, send those emails from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., for instance, and a batch of a few emails every single hour or 30 minutes. Sending volume. Again, this is related with the sending pattern that we've talked just before. Warm up your domain if it's a new one. And especially if you know, as we've said, that a spike will come. Again, if for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you know that you will be sending twice the volume of emails that you usually send, you should prep your domain for sending that much email. So it means that you should send more emails as you close into BFCM, to make sure that it doesn't look like a huge spike at that time. There are a few recommendations here as well to keep in mind. The more email that you send, the more slowly you should increase sending volume. It's not the same effect to multiply your volume by 10 if it goes from 10 emails a day to 100 a day than from 10K a day to 100K a day. And of course, you can also increase the sending volume more quickly when you send daily instead of weekly. And those are, by the way, official recommendations that you'll find from Yahoo, Google, and all the major inbox providers as well. In terms of content, there's one simple rule, but again, better said than not. Ensure the email that you are sending is wanted by the recipient. If it's not, it might, you'll not receive any engagement. Of course, it also might result into spam, a higher spam rate. Avoid link shorteners, even official ones. If you have a YouTube link to share, then share the real YouTube link, not the youtube.be link. It will help you increase deliverability. Avoid sending emails with HTTP link, just HTTPS. Again, these rules are important because that's the kind of stuff that phishing and spammers are doing. You don't want to look like them. The first rule to not be considered as a spammer is to not do anything a spammer would do. Link shortener, insecure links, that's the kind of stuff that they're doing. You should avoid this every time. Make it super easy to contact you. Avoid the no reply at email addresses. Make sure that if people want to answer to your email, they can. If they want to unsubscribe, then you should do it right away. And ensure that there's a physical address in your email somewhere. This is something that is checked by the inboxes provider as well. And of course, create better emails than your competitors, but that's my marketing preference speaking here. In terms of preferences, of course, the main rule you should have here is it should be easy to subscribe, to unsubscribe, and change preferences. That's an official recommendation by Google. marketing messages and subscribe messages must support one-click unsubscribe and include a clearly visible unsubscribe link in the message body. In the message body, one-click unsubscribe and visible. So don't try to hide it and like write it in white in a white background. That won't work. That's not the goal. Make it super visible. If people want to unsubscribe, they'll do. You do not need to hide this, because if they don't find a way to do this, they'll mark you as spam and you'll lose much more than just a subscribed user. Plus, Google will actually detect that you're trying to hide this link. And again, hiding links in an email, that's a spammer behavior. You want to avoid this. List management. So clean your email list often. Remove people that are not engaged for two reasons. One, it decreases your engagement rate on the emails that you're sending overall. Two, whatever the ESP that you're using, you're actually paying for those people signed up on your list. You don't want this, so just clean your email list. You don't need to get them here if they don't open your email. You're paying for them, and you don't need that. Create a sunset flow. That's a good idea. When you see that people are becoming less and less active on your list, just before you will remove them, make sure to send them an email asking them right away, do you want to stay subscribed or not? Then it will result in a spike of engagement. And the people who don't even see that flow, well, they'll last forever, but they won't open anything else. The main rule that I have here is actually make it easy to subscribe, easy to unsubscribe. It should be as easy to subscribe as easy to unsubscribe. One, as we've said just earlier, one click unsubscribe is the rule. Also, try over time, when it comes to managing the list and the volume of emails that you're sending, find a sweet spot for how often you send emails. Set the expectation, for instance, in the welcome email for frequency, stick to it, and ensure that the people who are receiving your emails are engaging with the content. The more engagement, the best grade you'll receive from ESPs, from inboxes. Then the stack. Sorry, there's a typo here, but pick an established email service provider, of course, also because those are the providers that are spending a lot of resources into making sure that their infrastructure has good grades and good reputations to Gmail, Yahoo, and the others. Of course, that's the big recommendation that was a big recommendation for 2024, still will be. Add SPF, DKIM, DMARC, and BME records to your domain name to make sure that your emails are correctly authenticated. If they're not, they're going to go to spam 100% of the time, no question asked. Also monitor your spam score. I'm going to share this just right after, but there are some platforms that can help you understand what are the inboxes thinking of your email. Also, when it comes to managing the reputation, try to use a subdomain and not the main domain right away to send email. For instance, the best recommendation I can have here is to use email.yourmaindomain.com. Second best option is yourbrandname.yourbrandnameemail.com. Try to use this. It's going to be better for sure than using your main domain that should be reserved for your website mostly and not for delivering email. It's going to be easier to do it this way. Do not try to use completely different email domains either, again, because that's what a spammer would do. Phishing has made people and ESPs very wary of lookalikes, and you want to avoid looking like them as well. Then it comes to reputation. Monitor your spam rate. It should be below 0.1%. Again, official recommendation. Use Google Postmaster tools to find this out. It's a free tool made available by Google that allows you to check in real time, almost in real time, how many people are declaring your emails as spam. It's a much more better metric than the one that the other ESPs can report. And you'll see right away there if you're above or below the spam rates that Google's recommend. Their official recommendation is keep spam rates below 0.1% and avoid ever reaching a spam rate of 0.3%. What's going to happen if you go above 0.3%? you're going to see a decline of your open rates right away, because a bunch of your emails are going to go to spam instantly. And that can last for a few weeks until you consistently stay below 0.1%. Yep, major stuff in deliverability here. Just monitor your spam rate, make sure that you don't go above these rates. And of course, warm up your reputation. If you use a new domain, if you do what we've said just right here in using a new domain, don't try to send that many emails from this new domain right away. Warm it up, just send emails little by little to the most engaged users over time before fully using this new domain. Again, increasing the sending volume of a domain too quickly can result in deliverability problems. Open rates. I love these topics because usually it's the sign of something going wrong. Google itself doesn't track open rates, so just having an open rate actually doesn't matter for Google. It's not an indicator that they'll check to classify your email as spam or not. They won't check this metric. They will, however, check the clicks and the engagement. And ESP can't verify Google actually can't verify the accuracy of open rates as reported by ESPs and third parties. Again, as I've seen, low open rate aren't necessarily a big issue of deliverability by itself. It can be, it's something that's worth being checked. But if that's the case, then you'll see other metrics affected, such as your spam rate in Google Postmaster tools. Emails, of course, the most important. You should send emails that are interesting to people and that will make them click and engage with your content. Then, if after all of this you still have an issue, there are several ways you could fix this. The first step you should do if you think that there's an issue in deliverability is to check what's happening in Google Postmaster tools. Here, what you can do is really just to log in on Google Postmaster, make sure that the curve are okay, that there's no curve above 0.1%, that there's absolutely no curve in 0.3%. If you have an issue in terms of spam and deliverability, you'll see your graph going through the roof and way above 0.3%. It's okay. It's always fixable. You should understand where the issue is coming from. It could be from the forms, because there you have a lot of bots signing up to your forms, and then the people signed up are declaring your emails as spam. It could be because of your DNS settings and your email not currently authenticated. It could be from a variety of reasons. Find why, fix this issue, and then for the next 2-3 weeks, what you should do is really to continue to send emails, but at a lower rate and only to the most engaged users within 2-3 weeks, to again stay below the 0.1% of spam rates, and then your deliverability will restart to improve. There's no short-term fix, but at the same time, having deliverability issue is not a long-term issue at all. It could be fixed in a quite quick manner, in a let's say midterm. Usually within 2-3 weeks, you can fix any deliverability issue that you can see. And this is also where competitive intelligence can help in terms of deliverability, because you can actually quite easily, surprisingly enough, see the deliverability of your competitors, if they're sending good emails or not. You can check their email marketing strategy over time. You can understand how much you're sending emails versus them, and if there's a big discrepancy or difference between you and the rest of the market, which actually matters. And you can actually compare how your deliverability performs against theirs. You can do this actually quite easily in this year, in 2025. And there's a platform that actually helps you to do this automatically. It's Panoramata. There's a bunch of super easy features that we offer on the platform that can help you make sense of what are your competitors doing and performing in terms of email marketing. I'm just going to take a minute now to take a few questions. If there's any, just put them here in the chat. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and I'll start showing you on the platform how it works and how you can actually get those kinds of data. All right, all good. I'm going to go here and I'm going to take two brands to actually check what their deliverability looks like. We're going to take a supplement brand and a jewelry brand as well. So this is Ana Luisa. It's a jewelry brand from the US. This is those, a supplement brand from the US as well. And on Panoramata, there's something that you can do quite easily, which is we're scoring every single email that we received, as I've said at the very beginning. And here you'll get a sense of how optimized their emails are over time, how they're optimizing their email marketing strategy in terms of deliverability, of course, but also in terms of content and from a technical standpoint as well. And you'll get an understanding of their spam score right away as well, which is quite interesting. Let's take this one. All right, interesting. Here they have a spam score of 1.4, which is an issue. The spam score that we display here on the platform, it's the official spam score that Google, Yahoo, and the others are using as well. It's a global recommendation. In terms of spam score, it works as the score starts at 0, and each time that you're doing something suspicious that will likely classify you as spam, it adds to the score. And if you're following good practices, then it subtracts to the score. So the best companies sending the best emails, I don't know, I'm thinking about Nike, Lululemon, that kind of companies, Wikipedia, for instance, they will have email spam scores around -10, that kind of scores. If you're above 0, so if you're below 0, you're good, you're safe, you're not going to be classified as spam. If you're between 0 and 2, like here, you're at risk. If you're between 2 and 5, you're more than at risk. You're likely to be classified as spam. If you're above 5, then you'll be classified as spam by all ESPs 100% of the time. Panoramata makes it super easy to check what's the spam score of your emails, what you can improve to actually have a better deliverability on top of everything that I've laid down during this call. And what are the others doing as well. For instance, if I do check Ana Luisa, again, here I have a 1.3, but you can see that the average is better. And if I go here and I check, let's have a look at Nike. Usually they do have great email scores. Again, Nike -7.52. That's a perfect email score that they're having here. It means that they're more than safe when it comes to being classified as spam. And the platform, Panoramata itself, makes it super easy for you to check this on an email per email basis, as I've showed you, also on a brand per brand basis right away. But we also have a bunch of other tools and features that will help you compare all your market instantly and you within it to actually see if you have better deliverability than your competitors, and also get direct recommendations on how you should improve your deliverability, again, based on all the checklists that I've displayed and explained with you today. All right, we're closing on the half an hour here. I don't know if there's any specific question, any specific issue anyone wants to check with me. If not, then I'll close this webinar session today. Thanks for watching. We're here if you need anything. Book a session with me if you'd like to. And yep, take care. And wherever you are in the world, have an amazing day.